So we're going to have a little go at shading. So shading, when you're using the grid method of drawing, you are working one square at a time. So if I look at this top square here, it's very light in the corner, and then we've got still quite a light tone. So I'm just going to use the edge of my pencil, and I'm just going to get in a nice light tone. Shading lines nice and close together, with no white gaps. And it's really tricky to blend from light to white, so you can just in that area just use your finger smudging. Goes a little bit darker there. And then what I'm going to do on this box is just get a nice base tone, really nice light tone. And then we can see here on this area that leads up to the nose that it goes just a little bit darker. And then just above the lip there, it's a little bit darker also. So now I'm moving on to the third box, and again, really nice and light. We're using the edge of our pencil, the side of the pencil, just so that we get a nice smooth texture. Very light over here. And when you are smudging with your finger, you have to smudge with your finger. You should be using your finger the way that you would use a pencil. So if we want something to look like, for example, this area where it dips because the lips come out here and in there and out here, then we need to smudge like that as well, just to give our drawing a bit of form. Right, so now we're moving on to the next set of squares. Again, just using the edge of your pencil. We're working with very light tones and we're blending to white. When it gets to the lip, there's a certain direction that we should be working in. So these are my tips for shading the lips. If we want to give it a form and we want it to look 3D, that's the direction that we would shade in with the lips. So I'm going to start in this corner here because we're working using the grid method of drawing, and I'm just following that direction. So it's nice and dark in that corner there. And I've changed the way that I'm holding the pencil now. I'm not using it on the side anymore. I'm using the tip of the pencil so that I can get some nice detail, some nice shading lines. And what I'm doing in some areas, I'm pressing lightly with the pencil, and in other areas I'm pressing quite heavy with the pencil. So I'm going to work on this next box here. I'm not worried if I don't get my tones exactly right, because I can work my way back through the drawing afterwards. So don't try and do too much at once, just a little area at a time. We can see that some of the dark bits comes out more so in some areas than others. So keep just looking back through that drawing. So as I move along the lip and I move along the boxes, my shading is going to change direction. Because over here it goes, curves in that direction. In the middle it's just going to go up and down. Now the best artists are going to use a strong contrast, so dark and light, and we can see that's really dark and really light. The stronger the contrast, the more 3D and realistic your drawing will be. And just remembering to curve your shading, following the correct direction that I outlined earlier on, just to give the lip some form. And what we're doing here is we are using different weight lines. So we're using some heavy lines for a nice dark tone, some very light skinny lines for a light tone, maybe because the light is shining on the part of the lip that sticks out the most fullest part of the lip. And if you go too dark, you are using a rubber just to take some of the dark back and reveal some light again. But remember to use your rubber like a pencil. So if you would normally curve your pencil in that certain area of shading, then you're going to curve using your rubber. Always looking at the picture, make sure you get your tones correct, because mine were just wrong there, I went too dark. So I've had to use rubber and take it back a little bit.